What's going on? I'm Chris Disney, and this is Drinking with Mo's.
This is Drinkin Atmos, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's all so mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkin Atmos, where we don't quit. Drinkin Atmos, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, always a scream.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin' Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Mo's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, welcome Drinking at Mo's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. You with liking, subscribing, sharing, all that good stuff because it helps with YouTube's pain in the ass algorithm. Don't forget the audio platforms too. Today, I'm excited to have with me back. It's been a little bit. Chris Disney, how you doing?
Fucking tired, exhausted. Just everything.
No, I can relate. I got a little behind on putting episodes together, and literally just like Sunday finally got caught up. So yeah, I can get you there. Now, what all have you been up to since you last stepped through the doors here? It's been a little bit. I'm damn near 300 episodes now.
Um, I don't actually. I think I need a refresher on when the last time I was on.
That's what I was trying to remember. I was trying to look back because I know everything's on the YouTube and audio platforms. I was trying to think because I was wanting to say it was. I'm wanting to say it was one of the first 100.
I think so too.
I'm trying to remember.
Actually, let me go check something real quick, brother, and I'll be right back with that information.
Okay. I'll
Okay.
hit pause real quick.
Okay.
All right, we're back. All right, so you got the information.
Yeah. So I want to say, according to like my notes and everything, it looks like summer, early summer last year.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, that sounds about right.
It was shortly after SoCal came back.
Mm. Oh yeah, yep. I remember now.
Um, well, let's see. RC's thriving. We just had our technically our third anniversary show this last
I was going to say it was relatively recently here, wasn't it?
It was Saturday,
Okay.
where one of the guys that you have interviewed, you put out an interview recently, my boy Matthias.
Oh yeah.
became the ORC heavyweight champ.
Ooh, that he's gonna be one hell of a champ for you.
And then who am still feeling the effects. I had a match of my own design that I called the Bunkhouse Brawl, which is essentially just a last man standing.
Yeah.
But I'm a very huge Dusty Rhodes
Oh yeah.
mark. Um, so that against Tommy Wilson and
Oh yeah, I know Tommy Wilson.
um yeah, we left it all out in that ring. In fact, I think we both left like too much of it in the ring this past weekend.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And yeah, like I said, I'm damn near 300 episodes now. I have it lined up, the episode, the recording that I'm going to use for that. It and it's the recording itself is probably going to be a little bit before I actually record the 300th, but long story short, it's with Cheeseburger, former Ring of Honor New Japan star, has got the nod from Jushin Thunder Liger.
Holy
Teamed with
shit.
teamed with him on a few occasions, and actually my commentary debut, the main event, he was one half of it.
Nice.
So that's I've been up to a little bit myself. I got at least one more commentary gig going, but one reason we were also getting in here today is I may not have been playing this game as long as you might have, but I've only been playing for a few months now. Magic the Gathering. My my wife likes to give my brother-in-law shit because he was the one that got me into it. But I mean, I'm having fun. I got two precons and I got four decks with me that I've actually built largely myself. So and I've actually, the one I have in my hand, I'm particularly proud of because it's one that I came the closest to actually winning a game with. And fuck, move that out of the way. The set that got me into it, me being a fan of the Assassin's Creed games, it was the Assassin's Creed set. Although it seemed to kind of not really pick up where I thought it would. But my one commander, I can't pronounce her name, but Evelyn de that green and Death Touch. So like this whole deck is filled with a whole shitload of Death Touch.
Green black, gotcha.
Yep, green black. Yep, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. I picked up a few cards like this alternate art Rotten Mouth Viper.
That's very nice.
Oh yeah, I picked that up. Like I was actually at the game commander night at a local game store, and I picked up a couple packs of the Bloomborough, and all of a sudden I saw that and like jumped out at me. So I looked it up. I'm like, oh damn. But first things first here, let me actually get my notes out here. What actually got you into it? Because me, brother-in-law, when I mentioned I was curious.
Um, with me, when it comes to like magic, it's the same thing with a lot of stuff that like I'm into in my life. It's the artwork.
Mm,
Like I was like a kid, fuck, 15, 14, 13 around there. um, and saw the new artwork featured on the card pack for a card called Baron Singer, and it is just this gnarly looking vampire with claw, like just razor sharp claws, visceral and blood just spewing out from his mouth, and I'm just like, that is extremely wicked, and anything and everything about this I want to be a part of.
Was that like, okay, for those that have been playing a little longer than me, I apologize if I say some stuff that might sound stupid, but that was like the set that got you into it?
That was so that was Torment. So that was the set that got me hooked.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know for me, like I said, being a fan of the Assassin's Creed games, that was where I ended up getting my start. I don't have nearly as much of it as I do for like one of the more recent ones, Bloomborough. I have the bundle box I practically have full, but I pretty much any of the cards in there that I'm gonna use for any of the decks I already have built, I already got in my other decks. So it's like I don't know where. Like my brother-in-law that got me started. Next time he comes up, I told him, "Hey, if you want to take a look through it, by all means, because I don't think I got much else out of it that I'm gonna use." And he's already helped, you know, start me out, giving me different cards, different sets. The thing that also surprised me with the podcast too is I guess I didn't realize how big Magic was, especially in the independent wrestling scene.
It's TCG in a whole, my dude. Like when you break it down, this new generation of wrestlers and new generation of guys starting about my age at 39, 30, 38, 39, 40, and going down to these fresh-faced 18-year-olds. At the end of the day, we're all nerds. Like, wrestling was cool, but it wasn't cool depending on the area you grew up in. I grew up in California. So, like, it was kind of cool, but I also grew up in Southern California. So, like, there was a lot of lucha influence. So, it didn't get the stigma that, like, it kind of got, like, up in, um, or, like, because people I've talked to that lived in Arizona about my age, they were like, yeah, I was kind of, like, picked on because I liked wrestling. I was like, why? Like, wrestling was cool. Everyone liked wrestling.
Yeah.
And then I come to realize Arizona didn't really have much of a lucha scene or
Mm.
any lucha influence. So,
Although now I've been lucky enough to catch I know of a few promotions out of Arizona, so it's not as prevalent as SoCal, but they got some pretty good stuff coming out of there now, as opposed to till a few
25 years ago.
25 years ago. Yeah, that'd be a perfect number. Yeah, not as prevalent back then, but still, they've come a long ways. Which, for me in the podcast, it's been funny because there have been wrestlers from some places where before the podcast, I wouldn't have known about some of these places and not even thinking about an independent scene there. Like, oh God, where it was. I mean, Colorado somewhat, but I knew of some places out there. Then you get into places like Arizona and Utah, and I'm like, okay. I figured there might be, but I hadn't heard of anything. But what would you say is like? Do you have a card out of your stuff that you'd say is like the most valuable one you have? I don't have anything too crazy, like nothing in the hundreds.
Um, well, see that now that's a tough one because not only do I have my own personal collection, but I also run a virtual TCG store.
Oh,
So I'm selling cards all the time. Like, um, hmm. I think the one card I can always lean on right now, out of all of my cards, that's I know worth money is um my commander for my red white vampire deck,
oh,
who has an ability called Eminence,
I've heard of that one. I don't.
which go ahead.
Oh, actually, I have one that has that I haven't built anything for it yet, but it's like the next deck that I want to build. The Dragon.
So Ur Dragon is one of those cards that like on par with Edgar. You see it, just try to do your best to just get rid of it or burn through the deck real quick. Because with Markov, anytime I play a vampire spell, whether he's in the commander zone or on the field, I create a 1/1 black vampire token. So turn one, I already got two creatures out. Like
Yeah.
it, it's tap two creatures, your go, and by even if I end up getting screwed with the mana, I still have about 4 to 5, 6 creatures by turn six, whether it's
All right.
I've been creature multiplying or not.
Oh yeah. No, you get those like hell. I'm trying to read this one as long as they're yeah, this Dragon deals more with Casa stuff, but like I have a Kalia of the Vast deck filled with dragons, demons, and angels and shit. So that's another one of my favorites. I got all sorts of shit in there that, but my absolute favorite is my whoa crap! I about knocked some shit off my desk.
Oh
But
no.
Riku of Many Paths, dealing a bunch of modal spells, but I got a whole bunch of otters and frogs. Like I got what was
That
it? The
that Boom Bro set was vicious.
oh yeah, like my favorite card. I didn't get it out of packs or the bundles. Ral Crackling Wit.
I did. I pulled that one out of the pre-release.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't get it. I got the pre-release, I got the bundle, and I got a shitload of other packs and promo packs and stuff. Never did end up pulling that card, but that one I knew would go right in there.
And I think that one I have. I've either actually did I sell that one? Let's go.
That's awesome. You got that going because me between the game store that's literally just right down the street from me and my brother-in-law, that's about the the extent of my collection. I The only thing recently though that a set that the pre-releases has been going on, but a Dustmorn, I I don't know. I went to go get the pre-release, but they said that they didn't have any more they could release that day. But they were already selling the bundle, so I'm like, screw it. I bought the bundle, and yeah, I'm kind of underwhelmed.
I've been following this set like since they like all the spoilers and stuff because I'm just like, okay, what card are they predicting is going to be the bomb? What card's going to be the hidden bomb? What card do I think is going to just be cool to have?
Yeah,
Um, the local store I go to for my pre-releases to and whatnot, like every now and then they'll still have like a couple of boxes or whatever. They were tapped. Like they only had like 7 packs left that they could sell of Dustborn, and I'm like, I'll take 5, and I won't be the dick that takes them all.
yeah. I don't know. I ended up happening on a handful of cards that I'm probably gonna fit in, whether it's one of the four that I already have built or the one that I'm gonna build for Dragon. But yeah, other than that, maybe this, my 2 cents. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go too crazy into like I did for Bloomborough, like the whole shitload of stuff I bought for that. I don't know if I'm gonna go that hard into Dustmorn.
And that's the great thing about Magic is you don't have to do it for every set.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean, that's honestly the thing. The great thing with a lot of the card games, like you don't have to sit there and buy in a lot. The only one I feel you have to like just balls to the wall, like constantly keep up with is Pokemon.
yeah. I know a few people that get into that. I know one of my nephews pretty, and I don't know if he really is into it to play the game or just to get the cards, but he ended up getting like a freaking $300 card that out of a pack. And I'm like, God dang, like the most I've gotten out of a pack is probably the freaking Dragon. I got that out of a Command Masters pack.
Oh, so it's a reprint. Okay.
It's one that's worth like dang near $30 right now.
Okay.
So yeah, I that's about the most expensive that I've gotten out of a pack. Now, I know I've actually discussed this with my brother-in-law, but I've pretty much sworn off of the collector booster packs because I have had more luck getting better, like more valuable cards out of the regular booster packs.
So the gimmick with the collector boosters is um that's where like certain cards that's on the only unless you go and buy them like singles, it's the only way to get a hold of them.
Uh,
So like because you're still fairly new into the game, there was a set that came out last October, November, um where its whole deal was like conquistadors, Mayan pyramids, dinosaurs, and everything. And when you bought the collector boosters, you were able to get your hands on a Jurassic Park card.
Oh. Was that the Lost Caverns of Ixalan or something?
Yes.
Okay, I've had my eye on some of the pre-con commander decks, or hell, even some of the I've seen pre-releases available on like Amazon and shit. I'm like, I might.
I was before I got the T. Like, I really wish I had this virtual store like 2 years ago, because just looking at the amount of money I've tentatively lost on the cards I've sold just hurts really bad.
Oh, I can only imagine with the way some of these cards fluctuate in value. And hell, I know as of this recording, they literally just came out with a banned list for Commander.
I love like the fact that a lot of people are just like crying about it. I enjoy, for the simple fact is like a lot of these cards that got banned, they're expensive as cards now.
Hmm.
Like, and it's not feasible for casual players to drop 60, 70, $80 on just a copy, let alone if they're playing if they're playing standard, four copies of a card. But again, some of these cards were made specifically for Commander, and it's like this one card's costing more than your entire Commander deck.
Yeah, I've seen some decks with cards that like just the like you said, that one card is about right about or maybe worth the whole damn deck itself.
Which boggles my mind when you think about it, because it's a 100 card deck counting the Commander, and if one card can match or supersede your entire deck, like that makes me go, okay, not cool.
Yeah, that's a little nuts. Like, I mean, my collection, my decks aren't to the level of oh Post Malone and some of the stuff he's been able to put together is good.
But you don't have Post Malone money.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think I ever will. Because god dang, some of the stuff I've seen of his on some of the channels I follow for the game, like the game nights people, like some of that stuff. I yeah, no, I don't think unless I happen to either pull it out of a pack or something, I'm not going to be able to afford some of that stuff. Because I was actually just thinking, my wife and I were at a Nebraska football game this last Friday, and somebody that was on the sideline had one of those WWE belts that they give to the schools, or they made special ones for like the NFL, MLB, and
Like the
NCAA.
replica
Yeah,
or like the
those.
championship one.
Yeah, and she was like, "Yeah, and the one that costs like $300." I'm like, "Yeah, I've literally told people that I would never be able to dream about getting one, because if I even thought about it, my wife would kill me."
I mean, I've spent more money on a belt or on belts, but at the same time,
It,
they're not just for display.
yeah, that is true. And for well, hell, for me, I I think if I sold off a bunch of stuff that would equal the value, then maybe but I don't feel like doing that.
Like I have one replica belt and it was given to me as a gift.
That would probably be one of the only ways that I would get one. Because
And
actually, the one belt that I do have, my friend that co-hosts the My Two Cents stuff with me actually had this made for the podcast, but I actually got a Drinkin Mo's one.
that's pretty.
Oh yeah, and the strap is the same pattern as one of the uniforms I had to wear during my enlistment.
The Digi Blue?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love it. I try to take it to different wrestling shows that I get to go to, although it's been a little bit because things have been kind of nuts outside of the podcast. My wife and I are actually expecting they're going to be inducing her around Christmas.
Uh-huh.
So getting prepared for that and everything. So yeah, little bit of excited and nervous there. But
As I understand, you would be given, yeah.
yeah, given some of the stuff because yeah, literally every time we go to that hospital because it's the same one, like oh god, what was it? Cody Rhodes mentioned in his documentary that they released about him when Dusty was passing, and them talking about how um you know in movies or TV when somebody's passing it seems to happen so quickly, but no, it's like you're wandering up and down the halls, you're practically
It,
memorizing the floor plan of whatever floor they're on. I
it's just
pretty
nerve
much,
wracking and traumatizing.
oh god, yeah, I lived that. I practically memorized the floor plan of the floor that the NICU was on. Every time we pull into the parking lot, my the window that I would stand at when taking a breather overlooked the parking lot. So literally my eyes just go right up there. So yeah. Before we get into that too much, because yeah, that
Yeah.
but like that was
Anyways, wrestling.
yeah, on to some more pleasant stuff. But I was actually just thinking about this because I actually had this same talk with another past guest and good friend of mine, does a lot of wrestling commentary, Peapod, who's also into magic. What is a property out there that hasn't been utilized or made into the magic world that you would like to see in there?
I'm getting my wish next fucking actually around my birthday. I'm getting that wish
Yeah.
because they said they're releasing the Marvel stuff around
Mm.
February. So I was like, fuck yeah, I know we're home. I'm outside of the shows and everything. I know where all my
Oh,
money's being spent.
oh yeah. I know I'm looking forward to that one. And well, one thing that Peapod brought up that, actually got me thinking, Disney owns Marvel. Disney has their own trading card game. So
Lucaria.
why didn't they put, and I was like, you know what? I hadn't thought about that. Because I
I
was,
actually have a theory that I was talking with a bunch of my friends about and my brother.
yeah.
The reason Disney isn't leaning heavy on like the Marvel stuff with the trading card and everything is because if they let Magic do it, then technically they can't get it. I have a feeling within the next like couple years, the Disney card game is actually going to blow up real quick.
Hmm.
And they need to keep some competition afloat.
Okay. I get you. I get you because yeah, when there's you know, hell, the pro wrestling world found out when everything with WCW and ECW happened. When there's only one thing, it
Life sucks.
life sucks. So when you have more competition, that forces everybody to you know
Like
figure out what ideas to differentiate themselves, and then makes everybody better.
like when I first found out about TNA, I was fucking stoked and excited. I was like, "What?" And then someone explained to me, "Yeah, it's kind of like WCW," and I was like, "But what do you mean?" And they're like, like fucking the guys that can actually wrestle and all this. I was like, "Show me." And like one of the first shows they showed me was it's like 2004, 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. Um, it was the Kings of the Mountain, so it was Jarrett,
Oh,
Hall, and Nash in their fucking Elvis gimmick, taking on Styles and Hardy, Jeff,
okay.
and then it was either Diamond or the next, or it was Diamond the first week, and then I had to watch the next week, and it was Macho the next week that came. Like,
Oh, I think I vaguely remember that time frame now. Yeah.
and I just I like lost my shit because I was like, okay, like the guys on the undercard were amazing to watch, and I was like, all right, I've heard of some of these guys back when they were in WCW before it closed, and some of these other guys, I was like, I've seen their names in the PWI,
Yeah.
but never like saw them.
No, yeah. No, those were good times, but yeah, definitely brought up, the whole fact of competition making everybody better. And going back to the whole upcoming Marvel set for Magic, who are some of the characters you're looking forward to most being put into the Magic world?
I'm really hoping they do a Blade, just because,
Mm,
like, that's for whatever reason, I have an affinity for vampires. Like, that's just always been my stick as a kid. Um, I've always leaned into it. I mean, one of my favorite wrestlers during the Attitude Era was Gangrel and the Brood in
yeah.
them. And I'm like, fuck. um,
That would Blade would be one that I could see fitting in rather well. I know another
I mean,
one. Oh, go ahead.
especially because like the movies and the tie-in, like Wesley Snipes just came back.
Yeah,
Spoiler if no one's seen it, it's been almost 2 months, but
my wife and I went to go see it in 40X, where like the seats are moving around and shit. Oh my god, it was awesome.
the palpability um of everything when in the theater, like 'cause I went opening night, so everyone knew just enough to know like going on, something's going down, and plus, like I'm in San Diego where this is happening during Comic Con, so
Yeah.
all the theaters were packed. Like not a single like empty seat in the building, and everyone collectively just like it was one of those buildups where it's like, okay, Electra comes in,
Oh,
yay. Blade comes in, fucking everyone's ecstatic. And then like this is how I was able to differentiate between the true like comic book aficionados and the casual people.
mm,
Moment Channing Tatum came in as fucking
Gambit.
Gambit, there was like a good fucking half, maybe 2/3 of us that got up and were like, yeah, fuck yeah. And we
Oh,
had all these other people looking at us like, it's been a long time.
oh yeah. No, I had to explain some of those to my wife, and then have the conversation after the movie got out about how there was apparently there was supposed to be a Gambit movie that Channing Tatum was named as being Gambit, but then the pandemic happened and that got scrapped, and then now he's actually being used in it. And yeah, no.
So okay, so the whole Channing Tatum gambit goes all the way back to X-Men Origins.
Mm.
So they didn't like they the X-Men's Origins Wolverine, they like after that the studio got hit so hard because a lot of people didn't like the actor who played Gambit. No one, I've not met a single person who liked the fact that they sewed Ryan Reynolds' mouth shut as Deadpool.
Oh God, yeah, that was a travesty right there.
And then um so then like there was always talks about like them recasting Gambit and Channing Tatum being the guy that they were going to do it, but it kept getting postponed or put on the back burner, whatever. And then like after the Deadpool stuff came out, talking about revisiting that, and then Disney bought Fox. It's like the mouse was just like, "You're done playing with our toys. We're taking them back
Mm-hmm.
because you can't make a decent movie to save your life."
Which going back to the magic stuff, that when we were talking about Deadpool, that's was actually one of the characters I'm personally looking forward to getting put in there, because I'm like, it got me thinking about, oh, what colors would they be under? And then I'm like, oh, logically black and red. But then I don't know, how.
Not necessarily. You got to look at it as the color standpoint.
Okay.
Yeah, Deadpool's colors are black and red. I don't see Deadpool as, if anything, I see Deadpool being a five-color character
You know,
just because of his chaos.
now that you mention that, I can see that, because the Deadpool and Wolverine movie kind of, now that I think back on that, I'm like, yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Like I can see Wolverine being red and black, but like
Mm-hmm.
a sneak thing I saw, Wolverine was like red and green, which also fits into the motif of who Wolverine is.
Mm. Yeah, that's another. There's, oh God, there's so many people like. Okay, I'll admit I haven't been too much into collecting comics. I mean, I do have some of my, in my Ninja Turtle collection, but that's a whole nother thing.
I mean, me and you could do a whole nother podcast on that alone.
Oh God, yeah. Like I got the first appearance of Krang, Bebop, and Rocksteady. I got a Funko Pop signed by Townsend Coleman that voiced Michelangelo in the original cartoon, and the guy behind Splinter in the first two movies. So, but back into the Marvel stuff. Um, One other character I want to see what you think here. One that I think, because having a villain type character in there, and Marvel worlds filled with them, and if you're wanting to capitalize on the popularity of the Avengers movies, you got to have Thanos.
Thanos is black,
Oh, most
flat out.
definitely.
He's mono black. He's got death touch, and they can do one of two things. They can heavily rely on MCU Thanos, where he comes in, he's a ridiculously cost card, comes in moment he comes into play, wipes out half the board. And everything wipes out half the board, half the life points, and then everyone starts at a static like number.
I can see that, fitting into the whole, well, more in my head, more the movie Thanos with, wiping
Yeah,
out
with
half.
with the with the balance, or it's um just straight up stick with the comic iteration of the more death he causes, the strong not the stronger he gets, but the crazier he gets because he's that closer. He feels he's that much closer to being in Lady Death's good graces.
Hell, you could very well make one of each. Because Lord knows they got different variants of all sorts of shit in the magic world.
You could.
I also got to thinking, much towards the line of how they had that the One Ring, there was that serialized 101, Post Malone bought it for, I don't even want
For a
to think
ridiculous
about.
amount of money.
Yeah, extremely. What you could do for Marvel, the Infinity Gauntlet.
There's already talk about them doing that.
That I was gonna say, it would not surprise me if that was the case.
Like, I think they're going to have like, I don't know how many copies of the stones they're going to have, but they're going to have like more than just one copy of each stone in this particular print.
Yeah, and then you got to have the one of like, okay, the way I'm seeing it right now is they have one where you can piece it all together, but then they have one like ridiculous one where it's already put together, much like the one of one ring. You have the like a one of one Infinity Gauntlet where everything's already in there, and it's just like absolute ridiculousness.
It all depends on how they go about it and who they have designing it.
True. Because I mean, it could be done, but I guess we'll see. But God, that no, God, the possibilities that are running through my head right now.
I mean, we've got to wait like 2-3 weeks, and because apparently the first like real official look is coming out in um like October 18th or 16th or something, and then you got the Magic convention happening in Vegas at the end of next month.
Mm.
So they're going to be like, and look at this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can definitely see that.
Because they've been hyping this setup since last year.
Mm.
And they don't really that's not their gimmick ever.
Yeah.
Is they'll like have tidbits on what their plan is over the course of like the next couple of years, but they'll never like straight out be like, oh, in about 2-3 years we're going to fucking do this set specifically.
Yeah, for everything that I've gathered, yeah, that doesn't sound like something they do too much.
Not at all.
One set that I thought would be cool if they made, since they made an Assassin's Creed themed set, and I don't believe they've made a set or on this game, but God of War. what do you think of that one? Because for some reason, I have it in my head that that could be pretty cool.
It,
Because
it,
they
it,
go ahead.
it could be, but they've already introduced a Greek-like plane in a set called Theros, and they've
Oh,
gone back to it once or twice. So it's and then even if they do like the later Gods of War, um, they've already gone to the north, like a Norse plane called Keldenheim,
yeah, I've heard of that one. Yeah.
and so like it'd be cool, but I think a lot of the stuff that makes God of War, like Magic's technically already done and put their own spin on.
Mm. You know, I can see that because Kaldheim and what else, but I don't know. In my head, I just think there's so much. People talk about reprints and this and that. Got me thinking, well, shit.
Oh, I mean, everything gets reprinted one way or the another. Like there's a card in the game when I came in called Soul Warden.
Okay.
It it was a one white cleric creature for 1/1 that every time a creature came into the battlefield, you gain a life. That card has been reprinted and renamed so many dozens of times that I'm just like, okay, so this version has that one, this version has that one. And in doing so, it's kind of cool because if you do it right, because they all have different names, they fall under the rule that you only can have one copy of one
Mm-hmm.
card in your deck. It's like, well, I have like 10 copies of this one card, but they're all named different, but they have the same effect.
A little bit of a loophole there, but yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah, they're
Um,
technically following the rule.
unless it's like Knights of Templar, where it's like it says on the card, you can have any amount, a number of Knights Templar in your deck,
Yeah.
which that just sounds gross.
I only have one. So, yeah, no. And that one I kind of lucked upon. Now, one thing that I have asked before that I figure I got to ask you too, because I got to thinking if they put pro wrestling into the world of magic cards, who would be people that I know I got a few in mind, but who are some people you think would fit well?
So if they're using pro wrestling, like as we know it, as a basis for an idea for sets, then you have to go through with the icons and go through that. Like there's this game I've bought into. I I want to buy more into it, but I have no one to play it with. It's called Rumble Slam.
Mm,
It's based out of the developers based out of the UK, and all like these guys are wrestling fans. They know their stuff. And like a lot of the outside of the like box sets and like starter sets,
yeah,
like there's a lot of tongue in cheek like on how they do things. Like they got a little like halfling dude. Um I forget I forget what his name is. But it's basically the like that like furry piece that's on the front of a kilt
mm,
is his name.
mm,
And he's wearing a kilt with bagpipe He's Roddy.
Ah, yeah.
Um, her brother's right shoulders
Okay.
and face paint. It's Legion of Doom.
Okay. Yeah. No, those. Wow. The last time I asked somebody that question, I don't even think that I thought of those guys, which now I'm disappointed because I'm a huge fan of them. But there were a couple that like that I can come up with off the top of my head. Like I remember mentioning that I would make it the card the same, kind of similar to Alexios in the Assassin's Creed set, because it brought into my head Bruiser Brody just coming in, swinging the chains and stuff. The image I have in my head from different videos, I figure that would fit right in there. And then, coming up with people like Bray Wyatt or The Undertaker, two people that jumped out right quick.
Well, because you're like heavily like gimmick, super heavy gimmick, and super easy in the scheme of Magic, because Magic's all gimmick.
Yeah.
And the moment you understand the gimmick, you can easily be like, oh, like this would be that, or this would be that.
Mm-hmm. And just those two characters in and of themselves, with, I mean, you could go different variations of the Bray Wyatt stuff, but like in general, him and the Undertaker, two kind of supernatural, kind of mysterious characters that, hell, to me in my head, I obviously have uh the black, and then I also, it brought into my head for Bray Wyatt anyways, there's that saying he had about being the color red in a world with black and white. Like, have him in red.
Like with Bray Wyatt, like if they ever did this, like he would have to be a flip. It would I would do like just mono red, um, fire like the Firefly Bray Wyatt,
Yeah.
like, and then transform into the Fiend,
Oh,
and it'd
that
be
would be
black and red.
epic. That would be absolutely epic. God dang, another idea that I don't know why I didn't think of already, but that would actually fit. Like, you have the Firefly Funhouse, Bray Wyatt, and then those double-sided cards. You flip it over, and boom, there's the Fiend. Yeah, that would be pretty fucking epic. Alrighty, well, trying to think of a few more things that I had here. What has been like, or did I already ask? Anyways, I want to ask it again. What's a favorite set of yours from your time playing?
Favorite set? Honestly, like my favorite set is probably the one that least fits my theme, my overall thematic, and it's the original Kamigawa set,
Okay.
which I don't know why so many people shit on this set. Like it has mechanic like I the artwork was amazing, the card setups were amazing, and it was just like all in feudal Japan, just awesomeness. and it was for three. It was one of the old school sets that went for three sets to complete an entire block, told an entire story across the set, and it was gold as far as I'm concerned.
That sounds right up my damn alley.
I mean, like you got samurais, you got fox. It's like it's the set that brought ninjas into ninja and ninjutsu in. I
Okay.
know a lot of people get all pissy about the fact that they don't have elves, but like they substitute that with snake folk, and the snake folks did everything the elves did. It's just they had cooler art.
No, yeah. Like hell, you bring up Kamigawa. I know the one set, the Neon Dynasty. That's the Kamigawa set that kind of jumped out to me.
That takes place 1,000 to 2,000 years in the future from the original Kamigawa set.
Uh,
So,
see, I learned from my brother-in-law and the coworker of mine, and I'm learning here with you because this is stuff that we're relative newbie to the game. I probably wouldn't have known without talking to any of you guys.
okay, so the bundles long ago used to be called fat packs, and in them you would get a novel. Like you would get the full on like novel that they would release with the sets, and it would give you all like that's one thing I hate about when they went to these little box things. Like they had the novel maybe for Ravnica when it first came out, but after that they just stopped putting the books with it, which the books like I read my books and I was like, okay, cool. This is amazing lore. This is amazing like story. Like I now understand what's going on with the cards that I'm playing and why they have the quotes they do.
Mm. Hell, that I mean, when it comes to reading books for me, they got to kind of grab my attention, or else I end up nodding off about halfway through. But this stuff in the lore that out of some of the sets that I've been told about, sounds like something that would grab my attention.
I mean,
Uh,
it's
Go ahead.
like the set that got me, Torment. Its entire block like centered off of an artifact that like whoever has the artifact gets whatever their heart desires. And like everyone vying for the artifact, some are not the great and most wholesome of people.
Yeah. Oh, now, okay. Ask about your favorite. What about least favorite? Like one that you just absolutely like me with Dustborn. What is one that you were just completely underwhelmed by? I mean, I can understand it, having to think a little bit because you've been around the game a little longer than, obviously myself. But I'm always curious to hear other people's opinions on this stuff.
Um, like knee jerk is to always say Lorwyn just because it was really cutesy, really like Lord of the Rings, but not Lord of the Rings.
Mm,
Like 1979 Lord of the Rings.
okay.
See, I can make that comment and you know exactly where I'm going with that stuff. And that's why I fuck with you. But like over time, like a lot of the cards have grown on me and like the set itself grew on me. Um this is a hard one.
I can imagine it being that way because Like there have been those sets that I've heard are kind of divisive, and then there's those ones that people just rave over.
Like I honestly, I wasn't a fan of the Baldur's Gate set just because like Forgotten Realms was done so well. I felt they just mailed in Baldur's Gate, and the delivery kind of was like, all right, well, we're just going to reprint some of the stuff from Baldur's Gate or from Forgotten Realms as Baldur Gate stuff.
Mm,
But I don't like laziness when it comes to like you have an IP, especially an IP like Baldur's Gate with like all the lore from D&D, all the stuff that they can pull, and they just kind of felt mailed in and like we just want your money more so than any other product they've put out in a while.
oh yeah, that's kind of the way one of my friends feels about the Assassin's Creed set.
A lot of people said that about that set too, but I didn't buy into it just because I've never really been a fan of the Assassin's Creed stuff, and nothing I saw really popped out to me. So I was like, I'll just leave it alone.
Yeah, they're like I bought the bundle just because I'm like, okay, I'm a fan of the game. I'm curious about Magic. What better way to, jumpstart me getting into Magic than with a video game I'm already a fan of? But in saying that, yeah, it does seem like not a whole lot out of that set am I actually using. That's just me. It is like one of my commanders, yes, it's in there. And there's a handful in here, like my Death Touch deck. I know I have some in here from that, like Black Market Connections. That's one that,
That's actually a good card. It's decently, it's decent.
oh yeah. And Assassin Initiate, but then hell, the only other, because hell, if I have to pick like my least favorite ones, I haven't been around the game that much, but pretty much the two sets that kind of just, as much as I was excited about Assassin's Creed, it would probably be between that and Dustborn. I don't know why. Nothing's jumping out to me about Dustborn. I don't know. Maybe that's just my taste, the way I'm playing. I don't know.
It also, um, Dustborn is highly, highly, highly geared towards like a lot of the horror cinephiles because like the entire thing is all horror trope.
That is true.
Like one of the cards I pulled, Curse Recording. Um, basically, you play X amount of instances, you're going to die. Um, there's like a hockey mask
Okay.
artifact.
Like the Jason sort of stuff. I know I got
Yeah,
in my
there's a
head
chainsaw one.
the chainsaw one. I got that one right here.
Yeah. There's a machete one. There's a lot of tongue in cheek stuff like with like the 80s horror and whatnot.
Yeah. Most of my decks, oh, I kind of, except for my ones that seem to be heavily themed with Bloomborough, dealing with a lot of big, bad, just like lots of dragons and big baddie characters. I tend to lean more creature based than anything, just because I don't know. I like being able to, you know, take out Rotten Mouth Viper and just attack. I don't like. I get bored when I'm just slinging out spells. Is like I'm not actively doing anything other than casting the damn spell.
I'm cool with it. Is like I have a burn deck that all it does, like it has like maybe like 10 creatures in the entire deck. Old school 60 card format, standard. But like these creatures are just there as like to protect life points, and they do status effects when I play my spells. So I'm just like, Bob, I played this one because I played this one. This guy doubles it.
Mm.
And now this guy goes off and hits you for like two more because I played a spell. It's just like a cascading effect.
Mm.
And people are like, wait, I don't know what to focus.
Oh
I
yeah.
like I like causing that kind of chaos where it's like, all right, I do this, and in response to doing this, this happens, and then because that happens, this happens, and then that happens. Like I like that chaos. I hate when it happens to me, but I love being the source of it.
Much like me when I would help out at a haunted house my wife used to be part of management. I like doing the scaring, not so much when it's done to me. But like okay, when I talk about my a lot of my decks seeming to be a lot more creature based, I like especially with my death touch one, the one that I got in my hand. The way I like playing it is like I'll have, you know, a bunch of death touch creatures out there. Then I'll be like, okay, you want to attack me? Okay, you're gonna have to figure out, do you want to really attack me? Because I could just sling this out there and boom, boom, your creature's dead.
Yeah, it's like I just found out that if you have a creature with life link or death touch or infect or something, one of those like keys, and it's also a pinger, then I tap, I do damage to your big creature. It has death. My creature that
Yeah.
just hits you for one has death touch. Now your creature's dead without even going to main combat.
Or like one that I have in my death touch deck that also gives out poison counters. Spin the Fang Bear.
I'm looking for that one for my squirrel deck. God damn it.
One of the few games that I've actually won was basically from that card coming out, and then I'm like, okay, attack you, attack you. Oh, I win. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a fun time.
fun time by all. Yes.
Oh yeah, one of my I haven't been able to play in a while, but anyways, that is
Same.
yeah. The podcast and everything has been keeping me busy. But anyways, before we go, where can people find you social media wise, and where they can find ORC so they don't already have their eyes on you like I do? They can go ahead and get them there.
Okay. So that actually ORC is now been um absorbed into my entertainment company.
Oh,
So it is now part of the Rising Star Entertainment Group.
okay.
So people are able to catch ORC at still at ORC. Um, I just clicked on that too. Come here. ORC Wrestling 22 at Facebook, but we're also going to be adding the ORC into its own little subpage on our Rising Star slash ENT.com page.
Okay. Okay, I'll definitely get all of that in the description. That's, a little something new from the last time you were on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm running an entertainment company that now runs two wrestling companies, and also we help share a building with Primal Pro Wrestling School. So they deal with the school and stuff. We're dealing with shows and whatnot. So trying to be a helpful symbiotic relationship.
Gotcha. That, that helps the whole process, makes it a little smoother. But definitely I'll get all that in the description. That is about all I have, though. Want to thank you again for having the time to talk to me tonight. I love getting to learn more and more about this new hobby that my wife is seemingly regretting that I'm getting into.
Oh yes, this hobby is very expensive and very time consuming.
Oh yeah, I've
But
definitely had.
if you could somehow pull the sneakiness and get her to enjoy it, then you've won a battle, my friend.
Yeah, that might be a little. That might take some real work, but anyways, that's about all I got. Like I said, thank you. I hope everything keeps going well with ORC, with your entertainment company, and I look forward to keeping my eye on all of it.
No problem, brother. Nice talking to you.
Thank you. See, here's my issue with this fucking